Back on the campus of Jefferson University. It is the fourth and final game of what has been an incredible day of basketball here in Philadelphia. It is the #1 team in the South, Jefferson University, taking on the #2 team in the North, Bloomfield College. Should be, well, I don't know, that's another tough act to follow with that game we just saw, Caldwell and Chestnut Hill, Mike. So here we go. Again, two excellent teams going up against each other. Two teams that have been taking winning streaks into this one.
Absolutely. We've got three pieces of the puzzle, and now we're looking for the fourth. When you think about Jefferson coming in as the top seed in the South, everything runs through Eric Timko, number 20, player of the year, leading scorer. I'm so excited to see him play in person. You know, he kind of runs that offense. 22 a game, which sits 9th in the NCAA in Division II basketball, which is an amazing statistic in itself. They want to get in. They want to be the South team that represents in the finals. That was the big talk back there in the hospitality area about how the North is 3 for 3. But there is a lot of good cast members on that team. Antonin Kemkem, Ahmed Barber-Bey, Hakeem Bird, Nassim Bismarck. 4 or 5 guys that are always going to be there during crunch time. Kemkem is a house in there. You know, the guy leads the conference in rebounds and 9.9 rebounds a game. He's just a force to get into. Barber-Bey is somebody that's going to slash and go to the goal. Jefferson sits 4th in the CACC with their offense at 78 points a game. 261 threes, that's just a crazy number, which puts them most in the league. And the 5th scoring defense. So you throw it all into the mix. How can they lose? They got it all together.
But you got a tough task ahead for this Jefferson team. Bloomfield Bears, let's go to the records here. Jefferson 17-11 overall, 12-5 in the CACC. They are 10-0 here at home. They've won their last 4. For Bloomfield, they are 18-10, 13-5 in the conference, 9-5 away, 1-0 on neutral sites. But this is a Bloomfield team that has won 7 straight games. And, you know, they were 5-5 in the beginning of the year. Yes. They went 8-9 after that. Since then, since January 21st, they've gone 10-1. Just the hottest team in the conference, no doubt. 7 straight. They've been beating their opponents. If you tally up the numbers and you put in an average in their last 7 games, by an average of 20 points a game. So this is a team that's clicking on all cylinders.
That's a crazy number. Since February 1st, to 88 points a game for this Bloomfield squad. Coach Gerald Holmes, he's one of the best coaches in the region, without a doubt. He's always there at the end of the year. He always brings talent to this tournament. He's won it 8 times, and he's just a super coach. He's got Andres Fulgencia, who's kind of like that Swiss Army knife, does a little bit of everything, but does it all very, very, very well. First team All-CACC. Throw in Josh Morris, number 34, averaging 15 points a game. What you said, they've won 10 out of their last 11 to secure the number 2 seed. They dumped on Caldwell. They beat him by 30 in the last game, but I kind of think that was one of those last game of the year kind of things where all the decisions on seeding has been made. So I don't know how much you really count that, but it counts. It's in the scorebook, so you got to go forward with it.
And it should be interesting to see. You mentioned Fulgencio, 45.7% from beyond the arc, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Eric Timko as well from beyond the arc, 46% from beyond the arc. So you have 2 easily the best 3-point shooters out there in this game, and this should be a really fun matchup between these programs. Really looking forward to this one.
I looking at everything at the very, very beginning of the week, I thought by far this game was going to be the game of the night. But we saw 3 amazing games, so watch this one be a dud or something. You know?
Right,
somebody will win by 20.
Right.
Who knows?
Let's hope not.
I doubt that, though. This is going to be down to the end. How has Jefferson's your kind of home team?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about Jimmy Riley. Has he transitioned into this head coaching job?
Jimmy, you know, and he's always talked about this. It's different when you are an assistant, and he was Herb McGee's top assistant for the longest time. And then when you step into the big seat, there is a difference. The guys look at you different on the team. You are the chief here. So his expectations were that this is a team that he wants to play really hard. And there were points throughout the year where they were inconsistent. They were alternating wins. They weren't as consistent as he would have liked, but they've really started to put things together down the stretch. Eric Timko has led the way with that, with his points. And Biz Desai is a guy I like a lot in terms of his defense that he brings out there, and he's not afraid to step out once in a while that hit three-point shot. Barba Bay is a guy to look out for today because he's clicking.
I like the way he plays.
Very athletic, takes it to the hoop, can hit outside shots. So it should be really a fun matchup between these two teams here. The last time these two teams did play, if we go into the numbers here, it was back on January the 15th. It was a 97-87 victory for Jefferson. Jefferson's actually won the last three. But as we've seen here for the first three games today, you kind of throw a lot of things out because the intensity level is different.
That game was here at Jefferson.
The game was, I believe, here at Jefferson, yes.
Yes.
If I wrote down the correct. But you throw things out because things tighten up. We've seen these first three games.
Yes.
Things really tighten up.
Do you really think that Jefferson is going to put up 83 on their average in the month of February, or is Bloomfield going to put up 88? I don't know.
Maybe both teams hit 100 and we have this shootout tonight. I don't know.
Think about that track meet we're going to watch.
Exactly. So just a capper to what's been a tremendous night here. A day-long event of basketball here for the CACC. Again, the women's final all set up. The men's final, we're going to get that. We're going to find that answer, who is going to represent here this game and who's going to play Caldwell. So let's take it to the broadcast booth. Andrew Byrne and J.R. Dinello.
Thanks so much, guys. And JR, we're 3 for 3 in tremendous games. And now we have number 1 in the South, Jefferson, against number 2 in the North, Bloomfield. And how about the North thus far today?
The North has risen. What a performance from the 3 North schools so far today. And I was just saying to the Bloomfield College Athletic Director, Sheila Wooten, a lot of pressure. You know, your team's trying to make it 4 for 4 for the North. But seriously, you know, on paper, this looked to be one of the best games of the 4. And we've been just gifted with 3 really well-played close games. But what a matchup. Player of the Year in Eric Timko, and a team in Bloomfield that's arguably the hottest team in the region, much less in the CACC.
And to that point, they've won 10 of their last 11, 7 in a row overall. They got past Georgian Court in the first round, and they did it in a big way. They scored 57 points in the first half. They are high-flying and high-scoring, especially in the month of February and now as we transition into March.
Well, and they get, you know, great play from so many different quarters. You know, you have to love Andres Fulgencio, his ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter, you know, 16 points a game. And he's I love it that he's a do-everything kind of guy. But Wes Robinson, a career-high 32 in the quarterfinal win against Georgian Court. Josh Morris, you know, the tough guy inside. Battle Holly, Ellis. I mean, like, it's a team effort for the Bears. And, you know, on the opposite side of the coin, it's not just Eric Timko. Antonin Kemkang, Bismarck Nasaya, Ahmed Barber Bay. There's a lot of quality players, my friend, on that opposite side of the coin, too.
There sure is. A Jefferson club that is 17-11 overall, 12-5 in the CACC, and they enter tonight winners of 4 straight. They beat Post by 13 in the CACC quarterfinals, 86-73. You mentioned Bloomfield took care of business against Georgian Court, 91-74. So we have 2 teams rolling into tonight, and expectations are high around both these clubs, and they have a lot to live up for after what we saw in the first men's game a little while ago.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really, really hard to be the last game of the day. You've been waiting around. There are other games that have been going on. And, you know, the energy in the crowd sometimes, you know, it's difficult. But in this instance, remember, it's different because the host school is one of the two combatants. So I would expect this gymnasium to be lively for this game.
We will send it down to our public address announcer for the introduction of tonight's starting lineups.
6'6" sophomore from Burlington, New Jersey, number 24, Wes Robinson. At forward for Jefferson, a 6'9" junior from France, number 22, Antonin Kemking. At forward for Bloomfield, a 6'7" senior from Ewing, New Jersey, number 34, Josh Morris. At forward for Jefferson, a 6'6" sophomore from the Bronx, number 35, Bismarck Nisaya. At guard for Bloomfield, a 6'2" sophomore from Englewood, New Jersey, number 2, Andres Fulgencio. At guard for Jefferson, a 5'10" junior from Philadelphia, number 3, Hakeem Bird. At guard for Bloomfield, a 6'2" senior from Jersey City, New Jersey, number 10, Tyreek Battle Holly. At guard for Jefferson, a 6'3" sophomore from Piscataway, New Jersey, number 12, Ahmed Barba Bey. At guard for Bloomfield, a 6'2" sophomore from North Bergen, New Jersey, number 11, Davion Ellis. And at guard for Jefferson, a 6'4" sophomore from Audubon, Pennsylvania, number 20, Eric Timko. And introducing the head coaches for Bloomfield in his 21st season is Gerald Holmes. He's assisted by Shelton Colwell, Gage Day, and Joe Niels. And for Jefferson, head coach Jimmy Riley in his first season. He's assisted by Ryan McGee, Randy Monroe, and Danny Brennan. Ladies and gentlemen, the NCAA at Jefferson Athletics and the CACC encourage and promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials.
Well, partner, final thoughts before we tip off our final game of the night and bring to a conclusion the semifinal round of the CACC tournament.
I think Bloomfield is going to really want, obviously, to push the tempo. They like to score a lot of points. I think it's the challenge for the Rams to closely guard, you know, all 5 of the starters for the Rams. For the Bears. But I think we're in for a whale of a game. 2 well-coached teams playing really well at this point in the season.
The opening tip caromed out of bounds. It was touched by Jefferson, and so we'll see Bloomfield's offense first. And man, they have been high scoring of late. 57 first half points against Georgian Court, on the way to 91. They scored 105 against Bridgeport just a couple of weeks ago. They are the hottest team in the league. 7 straight, 10 of their last 11. Morris, left wing 3. And the first shot from the 6'7", 325-pound forward and former junior college All-American is off the mark. He's not your typical big. He could step out and hit that shot. Timko. 22.6 points per game for number 20 in white, and Jefferson turns it over on their first possession.
It was really good help defense. And I believe it was Wes Robinson that came over and gave Josh Morris help on that play. And Barba Bay not able to corral that rebound. Long-range shots to start this game by Bloomfield. I think they need to have balance and not just live and die by shooting it from 25 feet.
Bloomfield club that is the highest scoring team in the league at better than 81 points per game, as he had to score the first minute plus.
And that's a tough guard for Eric Timko on Wes Robinson. That's a matchup for us to really be mindful of and watch throughout the night.
Bird found Barba Bay, now Kemking. bodying his way inside with Morris, a matchup to watch as Barba Bay misfires from distance, and so the first minute and change has been played without a basket.
That was a nice job by Josh Morris, really bodying up Kem King. As you see Ellis going off the bounce, getting the first basket of the game.
He tied a career high with 18 points against Georgian Court in the quarterfinals. Finished 6 of 12 from the floor. Bird, long two, rattles in.
Well, Hakeem Bird, you know, he gets just under 10 a game, but it's a very quiet, 10 a game for Hakeem Bird. But he breaks the seal for the Rams here tonight.
Morris and Kem King, that matchup inside to watch as Ellis has it knocked from behind, out of bounds.
Well, and you see as Ellis is able to get beyond Bird, almost went off his legs.
Here is Morris. Fall away with the right hand. He left it short. Mentioned Timko. CACC Player of the Year is 22.6 points per game. Lead the conference. Top 10 in the nation in scoring because he can create off the dribble. He can hit from beyond the arc. We see a little bit of everything there.
And you just see the poise that he has in that move. Just silky smooth down the baseline and a nice reverse layup for the bucket.
Jefferson with the early lead. We've played 3 minutes. Here's Morris. Over Kem King. It falls off the side of the rim.
Now Bismarck Nasaya can really do a good job sweeping the glass, and you see him stepping out and shooting the three off the mark, though.
He had 17 points in the playoff opener. Win by 13 against Post. And a foul underneath. That was Robinson. Fouled on the act of shooting.
Well, and Wes Robinson is able to go off the bounce, play with his back to the basket. He's really a complete player, and it was able to, give a nice little head and shoulders to get by Eric Timko. Kem King comes over a little bit late and picks up that foul.
Robinson had a career-high 32 in the quarterfinal victory over Georgian Court.
And I tell you what, partner, he was stepping back and shooting threes from way downtown. He was shooting threes from Montclair, not Bloomfield, on Tuesday night.
It was 13 out of 17 overall. And mentioned Bloomfield coming away with that win, 57 first half points. Most points they've scored in any half this season. Breaking it out the end of February to advance to the CACC semifinals. Robinson off the turnover. Fouled as he tried to throw it down.
Kind of a late whistle on Nasaya, but there was a lot of contact on that play. And you'll see it here. Robinson, look at him do a nice job of moving into Nasaya to kind of initiate some early contact.
It almost seemed like if that dunk was good, there would not have been a foul call. The whistle came after the ball and spit back up.
I tell you what, you make a really good point, Andrew. It would have been interesting had that dunk not gone down if the official would have just played on.
So the sophomore out of Burlington, New Jersey has another free throws. The Bears surge in front by 1, now 2. These clubs met in this building back in the middle of January. It was Jefferson that won a shootout, 97-87. The double on Timko. Right block, Kem King. Too strong, and Bloomfield doing a nice job in the early going, partner on the glass.
Well, and Morris has really guarded Kem King well in the first couple of minutes of this game.
Fulgencio, too strong, left wing. He can really shoot it from downtown. He checks in at just under 16 points per game, but he is known for his three-point shooting. His 85 are the second most in the league, but he was off target on that first attempt. And
I liked what Jefferson did there. Bird attacked the baseline, was able to make the pass, and then Messiah makes the extra pass to Barba Bay and draws the foul.
As we have our first media timeout of tonight's second men's basketball semifinal. Stay with us, so much more to come on the CACC Digital Network, powered by BTV.
We are a home for people of all walks of life who want to come and learn. Bloomfield College is a classical, small, liberal arts, comprehensive college.
Choosing the college that is the right fit for you and for your future goals can be a challenging task. But when you find it, you'll feel it. It'll become a part of you, and you will know that you are home. Welcome to Bloomfield College.
Herb Magee Arena, the site of the 2023 men's and women's basketball CACC championships. And we have been treated to a fun and exciting first three games, and thus far in the last one of the night, it is a 6-4 Bloomfield lead as we get a great look at the shot doctor, Herb Magee, a legend on the sidelines, and now Jimmy Riley at the reins of Jefferson men's basketball. And what a job he has done in his first season as the head man after spending the previous 15 seasons as the top assistant. Similar to what happened with Dean Johnson at Caldwell, with Mark Carino. Bird, long on his three-point try. Kind of a low-scoring start to this one, JR.
Yeah, I think this is like a heavyweight fight. You know, you kind of feel each other out. Don't want to extend yourself early.
Bird rolls it into the low post. Here's that matchup, Ken King and Morris. Great defense by Bloomfield as the shot clock ticks down to 7. Barba Bay hoists up the triple off the heel, but the possession saved. Bird, high off the glass, has some Division I experience. Bird started his career at Marist, then a season at UMBC, and brings that experience now to Jefferson.
Well, it was a really nice take and showed patience using the window on the finish. But the offensive rebound is what extended that possession.
Robinson, shot clock down to 2. Forced to just put up a wild shot, and a shot clock violation.
That's really good defense by the Rams. And I like the change defensively. Barba Bay has now started to guard Wes Robinson, and that's a better matchup, I think, for Jefferson. It also allows Timko, not that he's going to have a much easier guard, but you want him to not have to expend so much energy on the defensive end, because what that'll mean on the offensive end.
Jason Shields is checked on and throws that pass away. Bloomfield could not convert the turnover into points as Bird steers his way into the front court. Wants it back from Timko and misses the shot.
Another offensive rebound for the Rams. That's a big story here in the first 7 minutes of the game.
Timko, high arcing 3, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Well, and you just can't forget where he is, because he can hurt you from so many different places on the court.
First three-pointer hit by Jefferson. In fact, it's the first three-pointer of the game. Rams now 1 of 6. Bloomfield 0 of 3. Fulgencio changes that.
Well, and, you know, he was pretty quiet in the game against Georgian Court, and he really has started this night kind of quiet as his first shot attempt goes down.
The no-look pass lines up in the hands of Kim King, and he does the rest.
Well, Timko just makes that play by his ability to draw defenders to him when he attacks the basket.
You made a great point. I think to play off that, talks about the depth of Bloomfield. On a night that Fulgencio scored just 12, they put up 91 in that quarterfinal against Georgian Court.
Well, and I mean, obviously Robinson had such a night, 32, and, Battle Holly had a great game. Morris had a big game. I mean, they're a tough team because they have so many guys that can score the basketball.
Jefferson has the 11-9 lead as we have reached the under 12 media timeout. How about this Bloomfield club, JR? Last year, Bloomfield was 10-17, 8-9 in the CACC, and they missed the tournament altogether. Now they're back in the semifinals. This is where they're used to being, playing in the semifinals of the championship. Wasn't too long ago they were finishing off another three-peat.
I was just going to say, I mean, you have to marvel at what Coach Gerald Holmes has done on two separate occasions, a three-peat. I mean, that's unprecedented to win 6 conference championships, but to do it where you win 3 in a row twice. I mean, it's a credit to him, his staff, and the players that he's brought in over time. And they've just gotten better as the season has gone on, and they are such a dangerous team right now.
We get a look at Coach Holmes breaking down the huddle, his 21st season on the Bloomfield Bears sideline. Used to be called the Deacons, now the Bears. He's a 5-time CACC Coach of the Year, and we mentioned 2 three-peats under his belt in a year after missing the tournament altogether. They are a win away from going to tomorrow's championship. Oh, Eddie Njene at the free throw line. Was fouled right before the media timeout and misfires on that first attempt. A sophomore out of Lindenwold, New Jersey. He's a great story. The first basketball player in his high school's history to ever sign a national letter of intent, and making things happen for Bloomfield in his sophomore season.
That is a great story. Almost hard to imagine that in this day and age, there would be high schools out there that would still not have, a player to sign a national letter of intent, but that's really special for that young man.
At 3 points and 3 blocks in the quarterfinal win. Rams with a 1-point lead. Messiah, strong shot over a defender.
Jefferson has really shared the ball so well in the first 8.5 minutes of this game. They make the extra pass, and it really makes them a tougher team to guard.
Poole is on for Bloomfield, number 3 in black. And his pass inside is knocked out of the hands of Bucknall, the freshman from Greece. You want to hear another great story, partner? Marcus's dad, Steven, played on the Lakers with Magic Johnson.
Wow.
1989, 1990. Pretty good company.
Absolutely.
These are the artifacts we dig up.
I tell you what, man, the prep work, it's good stuff.
Ellis, and Bloomfield turns it over. Kinnell. Messiah, not afraid to shoot from distance. We saw him pull the trigger on one earlier. This time he decides not to take the shot. Timko all the way to the basket, and he's fouled. the CACC Player of the Year, showing off the full arsenal tonight.
But it's just great patience by Jefferson and how they're able to find that player and allow him to get to the basket and score. It's really good offensive execution by the Rams.
And he converts the old-fashioned three-point play. He had 12 in the first-round victory over Post. Rams have pushed the cushion to 6. Ellis knocks down the 3.
And you know, in the midst of this little run by Jefferson, that's a big basket for Bloomfield. They needed that from Ellis.
And that career high tying 18 points in the first round. Southpaw with that smooth stroke. Cuts the deficit in half. Timko blocked by Ellis, who recovered nicely defensively. Ellis puts up an air ball.
Yeah, probably needed to be a little more patient there. A lot of time on the shot clock. Could have gotten that shot at any point in the possession.
The North Bergen, New Jersey native. Can't really call it a heat check. Usually that's after you make 2 shots in a row, but that's deflected out of bounds and staying with Jefferson. And we just saw that graphic. Bloomfield off to a cold start from the floor. So kind of to what you mentioned the last game, the fact that they're within 3. Here's a defensive breakdown. Messiah unguarded on the inbounds pass. Flushes it.
Well, and they just lost sight of where he was. Messiah sets a screen and rolls off of it for the wide open flush.
Loose ball corralled by Kittle. Bird on a pump fake. Unable to hit.
You know, the one thing that I'm noticing, Andrew, you know, I see the Bloomfield players, they look like they're gassed. You know, not a lot of speed moving the ball down the court.
Something to keep an eye on, especially with almost 9 minutes left in this first half. Fulgencio, the shot clock's at 3, forced to just put up a long-range shot. It rims out, and Jefferson's away with the board and pushing.
You know, the other thing I think that's interesting to note, Bloomfield plays on a very small basketball court. You know, getting them out here, it's very different. And you see Darius Kittle knock down a shot. But just look at the body language from Bloomfield. You know, they're walking the ball up the floor. The players are walking. There's, you know, they seem to be tired already.
Jefferson is a 7-point lead. And it might grow this trip down the floor after the miss. Messiah, not afraid as a big to handle the ball away from the basket. Works his way inside, and now Barba Bay. Perfectly executed pump fake.
Now, Jefferson right now is just very clinically, you know, sound, very technical here in the first 12 minutes of this game.
Hard to believe with 7:35 left in the first half that Bloomfield has just 13 points. They're top 40 in the nation in points per game. And a foul against the Rams.
Well, I think Messiah just might have picked up his second personal foul. Now, that's going to be an interesting thing if that's true. That is his second personal foul. And we're going to go to our under 8 timeout, but it'll be interesting to see what Jimmy Riley does here with one of his key starters picking up his second personal foul.
And why don't we welcome back into the broadcast team and picture the very wonderfully dressed Jerry Milani.
Just popping right into the live feed. Saw the light on. I'm like, let me go ahead and pop in. It's listen in on Coach Gerald Holmes. Coach has been here before. This team always plays its best basketball. But I think he may agree with what you guys were saying. This team looks a little bit tired or a little bit not quite as effective as they've been. He wants them to talk more on the screens for sure. and communicate better on defense. And he was just talking about them being more physical. And I think it was just about the same time you guys were talking about how they looked a little bit gassed. Coach Riley really just calmed his guys down. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion in that 12-minute timeout. It was more a little bit about matchups and just kind of figuring out who he's going to match up with on defense. But there wasn't a whole lot that he had to add to that. Just tell the guys to keep doing what they were doing. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Jerry. Great insight as always. And so you look at this game, JR, 7:29 to play in the first half, and we talk about this Bloomfield offense, the highest scoring team in the league at just over 81 points per game. Look at the field goal percentage and look at the point total, and we're almost through this first half.
Well, it's an interesting statistic that they've shot 18% from the floor in the first 12 and a half minutes. No shock why they've only scored 13 points and trailed by 9.
See out of this timeout if Bloomfield can make stuff happen. Not this trip, though, as Battle Holly has it knocked off him and out of bounds.
I think he may have stepped on the end line, or Kinnell was able to bank it off of him. Either way, it's a turnover for the Bears. And, momentum staying with the Rams.
Number 1 team in the South, Timko. Thought about the 3. Instead, inside, Kem King spins on Morris and is able to keep the possession alive. Shot clock down to 5. Number 22 in white in trouble and turns it over.
Morris has done a terrific job guarding Kem King without any help, and that's been really good for Bloomfield, so it doesn't make those other players better in that offensive possession. Good job by Josh Morris.
Poole stays with it and puts it in.
Well, that's a big basket. Big basket for the Bears. Cut this lead in, a little bit more down to 7.
Poole had a career-high 21 points in the first meeting with Jefferson. The Rams won that by 10 in the middle of January. In this building, Barba Bay. The find inside rolls right past Kem King.
It was a good look, but it was a very tough pass for the player to catch. And you saw he didn't catch it, and it results in a turnover. And Bloomfield out of the under 8 media timeout, with a little bit of momentum, couple of baskets, they can get this lead down to, 5, maybe even 4.
You saved me from being cliche and staying a little pep in their step. As Ellis can't hit, but Jefferson is out of bounds.
Yep. Just kind of lost sight of where he was on the floor was Hakeem Bird, and he stepped on the end line. As Ellis had a great look at a 3.
Morris, a little bit of contact inside, stays with his shot and puts it home.
The big man just kind of eats that kind of contact as candy and was able to finish him. I don't know what we have here. I don't know if we have another timing issue. Yeah, we did. The shot clock didn't reset.
So they take a couple of seconds off the clock, and still with Jefferson. Morris for Bloomfield, third-team all-conference performer that averages just over 15 points per game. Timko over the big man Morris, no. Bears looking to run.
Well, and the Rams have hit a little bit of a cold streak, and out of that media timeout have not scored since.
Morris. Left elbow, tough shot, got it!
The big man, consecutive possessions knocking down shots, and just like that, the lead's down to 3.
The former third-team NJCAA All-American during his playing days at the County College of Morris has Bloomfield within 3, and Kem King. That's much needed for Jefferson.
And that's a great call by you. It was a big basket that the Rams needed. Antonin Kem King.
Poole inside Morris. A couple looks at the basket, neither of them fall, and out of a scrum, the Rams have it. Timko puts it in, not quite a dunk from the CACC Player of the Year.
Good take on the right baseline, and Timko, I think he wanted to try to slam it, but just make the layup, young man.
He does, and the Rams have a 7-point lead. Robinson, with no help underneath, misses his shot, and an easy rebound for Jefferson.
And Jimmy Riley with a great switch, putting Barba Bay on Robinson. Wes Robinson has been ineffective since that defensive change.
Down to just 3:45 left in the first half. Jefferson with a 7-point lead. Now it's 5 as the Newark, New Jersey native Isaiah Poole slices his way for 2.
Good job by Poole, able to get to the basket with his left hand on the finish.
Timko in rhythm, drains the 3, off the curl.
He is such a complete basketball player. You saw his dribble drive for a finish. Now, as you correctly said, curls off that screen, spots up and knocks down a 3.
That little cold spell is over. Fulgencio unable to answer. And all of a sudden, the Rams with a field goal can push that lead to double digits.
And you saw that Bloomfield was able to get the lead down to 3, and just like that, bang, couple of baskets, Jefferson pushes it back up to 8.
Timko, no good. That's time on the right side of the floor. Poole taking on all comers.
Well, give Poole a lot of credit. Is able to go by Hakeem Byrd twice and get uncontested layups.
Timko, the acceleration to the goal.
And that's it in a nutshell. His ability to use his burst and get by his defender for an easy layup. His ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter forces you to play him tight. And that results in his ability to go by you.
A turnover by Bloomfield. Kittle. Now it's Barba Bay. Left block they go, Kem King backing down Morris. And unable to score is number 22 in white, the junior out of France.
Well, you see, again, Josh Morris being able to one-on-one handle Antonin Kem King.
Poole wanted a foul call, instead he lost the rock out of bounds. And it is Jefferson basketball, and there's just 1:33 left, and we finally get to that under 4 media timeout.
Well, I think Bloomfield didn't get the benefit of a call right there, as Barba Bay, I don't think he meant to do it, but he definitely tripped Poole as he was going to the basket, and it probably should have been a foul and or just remained possession for the Bears.
You know, JR, we talk about February and March, big-time players with big-time performances. Timko tonight, 5 of 7. He has 13 points. 13 of Jefferson's 29. Now, last time out, he had 12 points. That was the fewest he had scored in a game since November 19th, when he was held to just 3 against Winston-Salem State. It just speaks volumes to the kind of player he has been, and when you look at the box score, you expect to see 25-30 a night from him.
Well, and he's doing this with the other team knowing that he's the player to stop, and he's just good enough to score, and score whether he's going to the basket or shooting the ball from the perimeter. And as you just pointed out, the Rams are shooting almost 52% from the floor in the first half. That's a tremendous offensive output from Jefferson in the first 18 and a half minutes of this game.
They're just 2 of 9 from distance, but their strength has been inside. Oh, they were looking for Timko. Here he comes off the screen. Great recovery by that interior Bloomfield defense. Kem King for Barba Bay with the shot clock down to 5. Contested jumper. Barba Bay hits.
Barba Bay really did a nice job of curling off that dribble handoff and getting his shoulders squared to knock the shot down. Very technically sound shot by Barba Bay.
All of a sudden, Jefferson has that 10-point lead. Ellis, and he's fouled.
Well, and you see the athleticism by Ellis there, able to kind of knife his way into the lane, draw some contact and finish. You see him right there split Kem King and Barba Bay. Great job with the left hand to finish by Davion Ellis.
A North Bergen, New Jersey native. Told you he had 18 points. Tie a career high in the quarterfinals. He was voted as the top junior boys basketball player in the state of New Jersey, according to NJ.com. And he has had no problem adjusting to the college game as he sinks the old-fashioned three-point play. And from a confidence standpoint, Coach, important for Bloomfield to go into the locker room if they're going to be trailing by single digits.
Definitely, definitely. And it would be a big momentum boost if they could get a stop here and then get a bucket, be down, either 4 or 5.
It was 10, now it's 7. Kittle throws that pass off the official. It was headed out of bounds anyway, and it's Bloomfield basketball.
And there's the stop that Coach Holmes needed, as Josh Morris will check back in. And as we just said, they should now, whether they score or not, they're going to keep this under 10, but maybe they can get it to 4 or 5 before the intermission.
Shot clock turned off. Looks like Bloomfield will hold for the final shots. Ellis with the basketball. Couple of steps in front of center court. Final 5 seconds. Morris spins his way inside, unable to get it to go. And that is how the first half concludes. Well, Bloomfield cut it to single digits, but they could not get a little bit closer as Morris's attempt does not fall. And it's the top seed in the South, Jefferson, 7 better than the number 2 seed in the North, Bloomfield. And Jerry Milani is with Jefferson head coach Jimmy Riley.
All right, Coach, you guys done a great job on Fulgencio and Morris. Is that the key for what you guys need to do?
All of them. They just, they're scoring a lot of points lately, so we got to defend them all. Obviously, they're one of the 2 main guys, but Ellis can score. Battle Holly can get it going. Robinson had 32 last game, so it's really all.
What else do you love about what your team did in the first half?
When the ball moves, we're getting good shots. We can't hold on to the ball. The ball needs to continue moving side to side, and I think we'll be okay.
Coach, good luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
Time, the final game of the semifinals here of the CACC tournament. Jefferson 33, Bloomfield 26. And Micah, would obviously you have to start this conversation with how Eric Timko's been doing. Just absolutely CACC Player of the Year. He's playing like it.
I hate to parrot everything that everyone else is saying, but when you listen to JR talk about how he's the Player of the Year, everybody knows he's getting the ball, but he makes the move, changes speeds, changes directions, goes under the basket, or he can hit the shot from the outside. He's exactly as advertised. He really is.
15 points tonight on 6 of 9, shooting 2 of 3 from beyond the arc for Eric Timko. The only player in double figures here tonight so far. For Bloomfield, Davion Ellis leading the way with 8 points.
Ellis can go to the basket. I love what he does. He's always in the air, always going towards the basket. You hear JR and Jerry and Andrews go to the basket. Good things happen when you go to the basket, and he does. Morris is impressive. First time I'm seeing him play in person, and he's a talent. I mean, he's a bigger guy. He's keeping Kem kind of, that's like a stalemate there. Nobody's really getting the best of anybody else. He can move underneath. He's got a nice touch. it's exciting to watch.
4 points for Morris, 2 of 7 shooting here tonight. Wesley Robinson also with 4 points. Isaiah Poole, who's had a nice first half, 6 points on 3 or 4 shooting as well. And then interesting to see. We talk about Timko, but on the other side with Fulgencio, only 3 points, 1 of 4 shooting. So for your top player to be not making the impact on offense that you'd like, that's something that you'd like to overcome.
I think Coach Holmes is probably going to address that at the half. But, you know, Jimmy Riley had mentioned they do a good job. They're doing a good job on Morris. They're doing a good job on Fulgencio. But you can't – can you guard everybody? Because it's like you have a bucket with a bunch of holes in it. You plug one hole, and then there's another hole. And then you get somebody like Ellis and Poole that score points. And it's tough to work around.
And what's interesting here, if we look at the field goal percentages, how Jefferson's out shooting Bloomfield here, nearly 54% to 33, but it's only a 7-point game. You would think with that type of lead, in terms of the field goal percentage, that you'd have a bigger lead for Jefferson. So if you're Bloomfield, you have to at least feel okay about that you're not shooting that great and the other team is shooting really well, but it's really a close game.
Does it kind of mirror the Caldwell game? You know, where Caldwell in the first half had a tough time getting it in the hoop. You know, Bloomfield at 33. What does Bloomfield shoot normally? 45%?
Yeah, right.
So they're down, but heck, there's another team out there playing defense.
Yeah.
We always kind of forget about that, how you think that, you know, your team should just do what you do. But
right.
Not always the case.
Exactly. And part of the difference, why they're not down in double digits, is 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Jefferson only going to the stripe 1 time in that first half. And 3 points from beyond the arc, Jefferson only 2 of 9. So for Bloomfield, that did not kill you. They shot only 2 of 8, but Jefferson did not go off from beyond the arc, which they could.
I thought they'd be raining threes a little bit more, to tell you the truth. But the first 10 minutes, I made a note that Ben said very clinical, very sound. You know, Jefferson kind of running their half-court offense, getting good looks, making some good decisions. Coach Holmes, you know, we heard Jerry say it in the one media timeout, wants their guys to be more physical, talk more during the screens. You know, they can do a lot more. They can really pick it up.
Sure, and the energy level, it certainly picked up, I think, at the end of the first half, but kind of in the beginning when they were struggling, especially for Bloomfield, that energy level just didn't look like it was there.
It's a good point. The comment was made on the broadcast, you know, walking up the court, you know, you don't know what the state of the situation is there. You know, at some point we're going to be running in this game. We're going to be helter-skelter, pants on fire, going up and down, up and down, up and down, because Bloomfield's going to have to close this gap at 33-26. You know, they'll take a win in the 50s or 60s, but you know they want to play in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, these are teams, Bloomfield especially, again, with this winning streak that they've had, they have been just lights out, just scoring a ton of points. So for it to be this low, you know, kind of surprising. But again, in the conference tournament, we talked about this.
Yep.
Things tighten up. There's a little more pressure, of course. There's a big crowd here, so just it's a different circumstance, different environment than it is
it's the late game. It's the 7 o'clock game.
Yep.
So where Bloomfield probably drove down today. You know, you wonder. I always wonder about the 7 o'clock game. You know, when are you eating? Are you just going through your normal weeknight game prep, where you're eating at a certain time? Did you check into the hotel already? You know, or you? It's just a lot of moving parts in the 7 o'clock game.
Right, and the Jefferson team, of course, that wakes up. Everybody wakes up in their own bed.
You're on your own dorm.
Yep. Your own dorm, your own
apartment.
Yeah, your own routine. It maintains. So that is one of the advantages of being home. Jefferson has not lost here at home in quite some time, not all season. So again, it should be an interesting second half. Now, one observation I'll make: last time Jefferson against Post, they had a lead. They had it up to 20 at one point. Full court press in the second half from Post drove Jefferson bananas, to be honest with you. And they gave up a huge lead, and it was at 6 at 2 separate points in the second quarter. They blew a 20-point lead. So I'm wondering.
We didn't see any pressure in that first half.
Very little maybe in the beginning, but not as much. So I'm wondering if Coach Holmes knows of this, and I'm sure that he knows of everything, but who will he deploy that kind of pressure on Jefferson in the second half? Coach Riley said they usually do respond well to that full court press, but for whatever reason they did not the last time out against Post. So that's something, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that particular aspect.
Take a look for it. I mean, there's always changes at halftime. Always changes. Why not?
Why, exactly.
Right, a 33-26 game.
Yeah.
You're not gonna stay pat. You're gonna try something else.
Right.
Makes
So
perfect sense.
we'll see what happens here in the second half. We're about 7.5 minutes away until we get to the second half. Jefferson and Bloomfield again. This is game number 4 here. It's been a terrific game, a day of basketball. Was game number 1, what is Dominican over host Jefferson on the women's side, a 1-point victory in overtime, 72-71. Game number 2 after that, it was Post defeating Holy Family. Again, came down to a last possession, 60-57. And so we're going to have Dominican and Post playing tomorrow at noon. The two North teams, two top teams in the North, playing for the women's championship here in the CACC. And then the game before this that we saw, it was Caldwell defeating Chestnut Hill. And again, that came down to the wire, came down to a foul at the end, a couple of foul shots. So 3 games with a close ending. This game here, a little bit of a separation, but it's clearly not over yet, and both teams are still well in it. And I would not be surprised at all if Bloomfield roars back here in the second half, honestly.
I would wholeheartedly expect it, honestly. But we'll have to see.
Yes.
It'll be fun for sure. Absolutely.
The way things have been trending, the last-second finishes for all the games, and I don't know if I can personally handle it. Been a very intense evening here, and great to see a big crowd.
Yes.
From all the squads, and just to see the kids here, of course, from Jefferson, but people traveling to see their teams. You've seen some Caldwell folks here make the trip.
See a lot of Bloomfield here.
Bloomfield.
Saw a lot in the courtesy lounge. You kind of wonder what Coach Holmes is going to say coming out.
Right.
We should start writing down our notes
Right,
about
exactly.
what did we think he's going to say.
Yeah, it may pick up the energy level. Maybe I do wonder if he will start pressing here because that flummoxed Jefferson last time out. We'll see what happens there. And if you're Coach Riley, what he talked about is the need to move the ball in terms of when the ball sticks. And this, can go for pretty much any basketball team. When the ball just sticks, your offense is not
Bogged down.
It's bogged down. It doesn't move.
Get good shots, side-to-side ball movement. That's what he said to Jerry on the way out.
And that can be said for pretty much any basketball team. But that is certainly something you see it a lot, where there's too much ISO play, or guys are settling for shots they shouldn't. But when you move the ball, find an open guy, get the defense off balance, of course, that certainly helps the offensive end. And these are two teams that have been scoring a ton of points recently. But again, a low-scoring one here so far here, the final game of the evening. It's about approaching the 5-minute mark here until we head to the tip-off, not tip-off, but the inbound of the second half here. Again, it's Jefferson with a 33-26 lead over Bloomfield. And our sideline guy, Jerry Milani, is hanging on here, looking to talk to Coach Holmes about what will be going on. And it is March, and we have had 3 wild March finishes so far. Could there be a 4th? We will find out again. About 4.5 minutes left until we have the second half. Jefferson right now out on the floor. Bit of shoot around here, and Bloomfield still in the locker room. Should expect to see them shortly come out here on the Herb McGee floor. Coach McGee is here.
Oh, he is.
There he is. Yes, he's right there on the sideline next.
Terrific. Oh, I see him standing up.
They recently, before the season started, named this place the Herb McGee Arena. It is the Gallagher Center overall, but this is the Herb McGee Arena, and
Nice.
it's the Herb McGee Court. It's everything Herb McGee.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. The Hall of Fame coach here for Jefferson, and Jimmy Riley continuing the winning tradition. And the hope for Jimmy is to get this CACC championship and to advance to the tournament, the NCAA tournament. But again, we'll see. This is a Bloomfield team down right now, but an excellent Bloomfield team. 7 straight they've won, and 10 out of 11.
The chatter between games with Caldwell winning and 3 of the teams coming out of the North is how, forget this balance of power stuff. That could all change in one recruiting class. But the fact that there's more teams moving it up, starting to step up their game, starting to figure it out, whether it's, they're doing their own recruiting or doing better coaching, that's just awesome for the league.
Absolutely, right about that. So we're waiting here for Coach Milani, and as we see the Bears coming out of the locker room now.
Coach Holmes will be joining Jerry shortly.
And again, it's interesting to see what Coach Holmes is going to say in terms of adjustments that will need to be made. About under 3 minutes to go until we get this second half going here. Fun day of basketball here at the Herb McGee Arena.
Hopefully with another one coming tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
As the finals start at 12 noon for the women. And then the men start at 2:30.
Yep, 12 and 2:30.
After the obligatory net cutting down.
Yes, which you'll see right here. Thanks again to the crew at Jefferson with the CACC. And we're going to go to Jerry Milani now on the sideline, getting ready to talk to Coach Gerald Holmes. Jerry?
All right, Coach. Wes and Josh, they've been your big guys this year, and Andres. How do you get them involved more in the second half?
They're involved. They just have to finish. Wes and Josh have to finish. They're 2 for 12 between them. They got to finish.
What else did you tell the guys at halftime to change us around?
We're terrible offensively. We're lethargic. We're not moving the ball crisply. We've got to improve offensively. We held them to 33, but you can't win with the way we're shooting 33% and scoring 26 points.
Your teams always play their best ball down the stretch every single year. Did you tell them anything about the history of how well this program has done to try to get them to hustle more in the second half?
Not lately, no.
Thanks, Coach. Back up to you guys.
That was beautiful. What a great question and a great answer. Not really. Not lately. I haven't sold them lately. It's like telling your wife, hey, have you told your wife, Mike, have you told your wife lately that you love her? Come on. That's right. If Kim's watching right now, Mike all the time says how much he loves you. That's beautiful.
That was great from Coach Holmes. And right before that answer, JR, he didn't mince words when he talked about kind of what you said. They looked lethargic in that first half.
Yeah, and I think that the only way to get out of that, is it starts on the defensive end. They need to energize themselves. And maybe they need to try to, like Caldwell did, pick up a little bit more in the backcourt. Try to change the tempo of the game with your defense, and maybe that'll inspire your offense. They've got to do something to get their legs into this game, to get flow. There's just no flow from the Bloomfield team.
Jefferson's Eric Timko with a game-high 15, and Fulgencio, who came in the top 10 in the league in scoring, has been held to a quiet 3 points. Just 1 of 4, all those attempts from distance, and we'll see what the second half has in store as Jefferson begins the second half with the basketball. Their lead at the break, 7, as they look to become the first South Division team to punch their ticket. Fulgencio seemed like he was waiting for some contact that never came, and Bloomfield's unable to convert.
And that would have been a big start for them, although they get the miss there and a Josh Morris rebound. They need to get out of the gate here strong in the first 4 minutes.
You look at Bloomfield's numbers at the half. Wesley Robinson didn't hit a shot from the floor. All of his damage at the free throw line. And how about Tyreek Battle-Holly? Took just 1 shot in the first half as he's at the free throw line now.
And with all that said, they were down 7 at the half. It could have been a lot worse.
It's like the 4th game in a row we've said that.
Yeah, yes. And that's spot on.
These have been exciting games since the tip. Right around noon between Jefferson, Dominican on the women's side. A classic that went to overtime. Here's a turnover. And a thunderous dunk by Ellis.
Well, and there you go, Bloomfield. Right out of the gate. Score the first 4 points of the second half and cut the lead to 3. It's a good start. You know, and you shoot 33% from the floor. You can only go up, right? You can only go up. Start getting your defense more involved. Get yourself into the game. And now here, first minute, 57 seconds, whatever, you know, a 4-0 run. You get a little momentum, quick timeout. The Bloomfield players need to get energized, need to be excited right now. You're playing for your tournament life. Come on, boys.
Good start for them. And
right?
Jefferson's turned the basketball over a couple of times in the first 57 seconds, and Bloomfield has trimmed the deficit to just 3. And on that dunk, partner, I didn't notice any player lethargic. That was a lot of energy, high-flying, two-hand finish from the North Bergen, New Jersey native, D'Avion Ellis.
Yeah. But just, I still get a sense from Bloomfield that I don't know, you know, it's hard to explain. It's like, are you here? Are you here tonight, right? Come on. I can hear some full court pressure, which I like. I like to see them getting up right now and bring it a little bit to the Rams. Let's see how Jefferson responds.
A lead that was 7 at the break. Another Jefferson turnover.
Well, Battle Holly read that backdoor cut by Timko and intercepts the pass.
Battle Holly doesn't get the shot to go, but he'll have a couple of chances at the line.
Well, and look at that strong move and really forcing the play and bringing it right to Eric Timko, who commits the foul, and that's his second. But a little bit of life shown here by the Bears.
Well, Battle Holly had just one shot attempt in the first half, we said, and now in the opening minute plus, he's drawn contact a couple of times down the floor. The Bears are within one, a 6-0 spurt to start this second half. And Jefferson coughs it up on the inbounds pass. That's 4 turnovers in the first minute 30. Violent collision inside, bodies wind up on the floor, and it's Battle Holly that is still down underneath the basket.
Oh, the knee, Bismarck Nasaya's knee right to his face.
Battle Holly has not gotten himself off the floor as the certified athletic training staff comes out to check on him. What have you seen from Bloomfield to force all of these turnovers from Jefferson?
It's just defensive pressure. You know, they've extended their defense into the backcourt, and they're making Jefferson play 94 feet, and they're struggling with it at the moment. They're not dealing with this pressure very, very well.
Battle Holly goes to the bench. I saw great sideline reporter Jerry Milani over there. He'll certainly have an update as one becomes available. Be a big loss if the senior's unable to return. They're taking an inadvertent knee. Morris. And Bloomfield turns it over. Nasaya blocked from behind by Fulgencio.
That's a good job by Morris, not pulling the trigger there to shoot the long-range 3.
Poole for Fulgencio. That's way off the mark.
Now, Fulgencio just can't get on track today. Although that was a great block, as you mentioned, partner.
Kem King fouled.
Yeah, Josh Morris is kind of looking around in bewilderment, but he did get Kem King on his arm.
So the third-team All-CACC performer who a season ago led the league in rebounding is at the free throw line. Junior by way of France. How about 18 double-doubles a season ago? And he hits the first. One more for Kim King. That one well short. And Bloomfield holds Nasaya just enough to send him to the deck. And that foul is against the Bears.
And Fulgencio and Robinson, they kind of like looked at each other and didn't go get the basketball.
You look at the free throw discrepancy. 8 more attempts at the line for Bloomfield. Kem King, power move inside, unable to score.
But Morris has done a terrific job today, Andrew, guarding him and really guarding him with no help. And I like the decision by Gerald Holmes to not give him any help and challenge him. And he's responded. And a great drive by Poole.
And the sophomore ties this one up at 34. I would imagine this was the start to the second half Coach Holmes was looking for.
It was a necessity if Bloomfield wanted to win this game tonight.
Barba Bay, corner three, long offensive rebound for the Rams. Kem King, knocked away by Morris, tremendous interior defense.
He has responded to the challenge of guarding Kem King without any help.
Robinson, off the glass, Bloomfield in front.
And the Bears with their first lead of the night and just aggressive play in the first 4 minutes of this second half.
Barba Bay hits the trailer. Kem King, no. Put back attempt! Goes, and he's fouled.
Well, when Kem King caught the ball in the lane, watch, he sees Morris and he alters his shot, but to his credit, he didn't stop. He went and got the offensive rebound.
So after Timko was the man in the first half, Kem King has been that offensive presence for Jefferson, but he missed the free throw, so the game stays tied.
Well, and there's definitely an emphasis as Ellis gets called for the walk. Definitely an emphasis by Coach Jimmy Riley to get the ball inside to Kem King.
Kem King has 7 points. Timko, a step back three. Right on target.
And that's where he's so good. He set that up so well where he catches, good head and shoulders shot fake for that step back three.
Entered the night tied 7th in the nation with 91 three-pointers. And the CACC Player of the Year gives Jefferson a lead. Fulgencio misfires from distance.
He is just so out of sync on the offensive end.
Morris, the rebound. Isaiah Poole nearly turned it over. Morris lowered the shoulder and an offensive foul. He's pointing that Jefferson was in the restricted area, but they're not going to overturn that call.
Well, you got to give Mr. Kem King props for staying and holding his ground to take that charge.
We get a great look at Morris continuing to point to that semicircle and the official telling him,
No,
now
sir.
it's an offensive foul.
No, sir.
We have reached our first media timeout of the second half. Bloomfield off to a good start in the second half, took a short lead, but it's Jefferson back in front. The South Division looking for their first win today. The Rams lead by 3 on the CACC Digital Network powered by BTV. Herb McGee Arena, the site of this year's CACC men's and women's basketball tournaments. We have been treated to a wonderful day of basketball, and looks like we are heading for another exciting finish in this one.
Well, and give Jefferson some credit. You know, they withstood an early onslaught by Bloomfield and, you know, responded with 6 straight points to retake the lead.
That three-pointer by Timko just a little while ago, his first points of the second half. He has 18 to lead all scores. For Bloomfield, Ellis has 10. He's the only one in double figures. For the Bears, Timko misfires from distance. A hustle rebound by Nasaya creates Barba Bay's three-point attempt that swirls in.
And that's the word. That was a flat-out hustle play by Bismarck Nasaya. Just great individual effort resulting in that three by Ahmad Barber Bey.
The lead grows to 6. Morris answers.
That's tough. Great job, little step-back jump shot. Yeah, he's got a really nice mid-range game.
Timko floats it up short, follows his own shot, and the putback rolls in.
Well, he just didn't quit on the play. Kind of short-armed his first attempt, but went to the basket and got rewarded with the putback.
Poole, fancy moves, beats the defender off the dribble.
That was a great individual effort by Poole. Showed the basketball, took it away, and then went right by his defender. That's a playground move right there, partner.
Pretty from the Newark, New Jersey native. Now it is sophomore season. King, well away from the basket. It's Timko. Offensive foul.
Well, and Eric Timko has just committed his 3rd personal foul as him and Josh Morris kind of get tangled up a little bit.
Timko is going to take a seat here.
And I think Coach Riley really doesn't have a choice. It's a good time to make the sub, you know, and let's just keep that in the back of our mind. At the 13:25 mark, Eric Timko goes off the floor with 3 fouls, and Jefferson up 4.
Your wish is my command, partner. We have officially put it into the ledger. How about Josh Morris?
Yeah, I mean, Morris is really, really tough, and he's a tough guard. He can post you, and he can step back and shoot that mid-range jump shot. Talented player.
Kinnell. Able to pass out of a mess of his own making. King. Offensive foul. How about Ellis taking that charge?
Yeah, Davion Ellis really sacrificing his body, and he did a great job. He was outside of the restricted area, absorbs that contact from King and takes the foul, and that's King's 3rd personal foul. So all of a sudden, 2 of the better players for Jefferson in a little bit of foul trouble.
Ellis gives up 7 inches and 80 pounds inside and took that charge. That one was halfway down, but it doesn't stay that way. It comes back up.
Well, and you see Battle Holly able to explode to try to get beyond Darius Kinnell. Kind of gets that contact and is able to get the ball to the basket, almost was able to put it down.
Battle Holly, who was quiet in the first half, it seems he's made it a point of emphasis to attack the basket in this half.
I think it's been a point of emphasis for Bloomfield in this second half is to get things going to the basket. Just everything is more aggressive from their defense and their offensive and performance. And, you know, that's why they've erased the 7-point halftime deficit.
Bloomfield knocking down their free throws. We are deadlocked at 44. as we approach 12 minutes remaining. It stays beyond the perimeter. Now it goes inside. Kem King.
And that's a great move by Antonin Kemkeng. And you see with the change, Anjani on the floor, and he was able to go right at him and score the basket.
Battle Holly long on his three-point try. How about the 6'6" Nasiah running the floor for Jefferson? Although they'll bring it back out high and slow it down. Remember, no Timko on the floor with 3 fouls for the last couple of minutes. Nasiah. Turnaround jumper wouldn't go. Still with it. They're hacking him inside.
Well, Bismarck Nasiah not giving up at all on that play. And it results in a foul as you see him going right at Anjane and Battle Holly.
We got a great look at Battle Holly. 2 or 3 times trying to swipe down at the basketball. He didn't make contact, but then the contact came, and so Jefferson, following the media timeout, will have a chance at the line to increase their lead. If you were in that huddle, when do you think Timko comes back in?
I would say not before the 10-minute mark. I think, you want to try to stretch it as long as you can. But, Bloomfield takes the lead. I think Jimmy Riley will get him back in there and not waste any time.
11:16 left to play. One more spot in the CACC championship on the line. Is it Jefferson or Bloomfield that moves on to take on Caldwell, who had a come from behind victory in their semifinal game with Chestnut Hill? 3 tremendous games have come down to the wire.
And I think Eric Timko is going back on the floor, and he is. And that's a roll of the dice by Jimmy Riley. 11 minutes to play, and we're going to have to watch that. I kind of question him going back into the game right now.
Well, I wrote it down for you. In 2:09 with him on the bench, Jefferson was winning by 4. It's 2 as Timko comes back on, and now it's 3 as Nasiah hits the first free throw.
He's a heady player, not one really to commit fouls, but who is his guard? Who's he going to guard, and can that person put him in a situation where he might have to pick up the 4th foul? Looks like he's guarding Davion Ellis. Wow, he's guarding Fulgencio. I would be posting Fulgencio on Timko to try to pick up number 4. Fulgencio's got to realize who's guarding him and get down to the block.
Poole, the shifty guard out of Newark. Too strong, the rebound pinballs out high in Barba Bay. Alley-oop, Nasiah missed the dunk.
That's a terrific pass by Barba Bay.
Morris, off target.
Gerald Holmes has got to maybe get a timeout here and really emphasize who needs to get the basketball and where, because this is where the game could get away from Bloomfield. We've got 2:20 before the next media timeout. He might not be able to wait.
Kem King, little inside-out basketball. Poole nearly came away with the steal. Morris took a whack up high. He's clutching at his face as Bloomfield moves into the front courts. Ellis knifing his way for 2.
Big basket by Davion Ellis. As you see, I don't know who is that at the scorer's table. Might be Bucknall. That's going to go in the game, I think, for Josh Morris. Oh, not a good shot by Nasiah, and it goes down.
A contested 3. And the sophomore out of the Bronx with a big shot.
That was a no, yes. Great shot, Bismarck.
Fulgencio. Well, he asked him to go inside, and he drew the foul.
Well, I mean, he's got to be the guy, and in that instance, it was Hakeem Byrd, and that's a mismatch. It's a mismatch for him inside, and he's got to be able to take that player down to the block, but he's got to be able to finish. You know, he hasn't, I don't think he's made a basket yet today. I mean, at halftime, he was 1 of 4 at the half. My mistake.
It is Wesley Robinson who comes in for Bloomfield. Fulgencio.
2 big missed free throws. And you saw, I don't know if you just saw it, partner, but the body language of Gerald Holmes, the frustration of those 2 missed free throws.
Here's Timko. Open 3.
And look at that at the 9-minute mark. You had the 2 missed free throws. You come back, Timko bangs the 3. And here's the timeout by Coach Holmes. And I think it's a good one because it's starting to get away.
Eric Timko just needs a little bit of room. And quite frankly, he probably doesn't even need any room. He's been making shots over defenders. He hits that 3-pointer, and all of a sudden Jefferson takes an 8-point lead as we get another look at that big-time 3-pointer from the CACC Player of the Year.
And it was Antonin Kemkeng that set a great screen to have him that wide open. But we're seeing shots of Gerald Holmes in the huddle, and there's no panic, Andrew. There's no panic. There's no yelling. Basically saying to his guys, come on. We got to get back to playing hard again. They expended a lot of energy to erase that lead, and then for like a 2 to 3 minute span, they didn't play that way again, and Jefferson has opened up the 8-point lead.
Following the timeout by Bloomfield. Bears with the basketball. Morris flipped it up, and kind of a late whistle.
And that's 4 on Kemkeng.
What do you do with him?
I take him out. There's 8:45 left. I take him out. And they're going to, and that's the right thing to do.
However, with Kemkeng coming out, it looks like Kinnell's coming in. It's an 8-inch difference inside.
Well, you just kind of said it. You know, the Rams are now much smaller. Bloomfield has got to get stops on the defensive end, and then the ball must go into the post on the offensive end.
Here's Morris hitting free throws. Bloomfield trails by 6. Still plenty of time left in this one. Now it's Bird, Barba-Bay, Kinnell, Nasaya, and Timko on the floor for first-year head coach Jimmy Riley. Shot clock down to 7. Nasaya tossed it up and gets it to go.
That's a huge basket for the Rams by Bismarck Nasaya. And he has scored the last, I believe, 5 points. Tough shot by Morris.
Timko, oh so close to pulling the trigger, and by not, he runs over his defender. Offensive foul, and that is 4 on Timko.
Well, and Jimmy Riley is going to catch a break here as we get the under 8 media timeout. And he can kind of make a decision about what he wants to do with Eric Timko. Will he let him stay on the floor, or will he get him as well? I don't know. I think, you got to get him for a couple of minutes.
We'll go down on the floor to see what our sideline reporter, next member of our broadcast team, Jerry Milani, has to say. Jerry?
Yeah, that's a big decision Coach has to make right now. We'll listen in a bit and hear kind of what he's talking to his team about for that. But I think Coach Riley might want to talk to the brass here at Jefferson and maybe get him a water bottle sponsorship, his favorite move on every play he doesn't love is to flip the water bottle back behind him. It's kind of a fun thing for the fans right behind, so he loves that. Coach Gerald Holmes loves the energy of his team. He hates the offensive rebounds they're giving up on the missed free throws and on a couple of the rebounds on just regular missed shots. But that nice run that they were making that got them back in it, he was loving the energy. That timeout he just called right now, just trying to stem that tide. And that big fourth foul right now might be the difference. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Jerry. Well, JR, Timko has 4, Kem King has 4, and with 7:59 left in the game, decisions to be made here for Jefferson.
And I think Mr. Timko is going to sit down. And McGregor in for the first time today for the Rams.
Sophomore guard out of Ewing, New Jersey. Battle Holly knocks it down. Right wing triple.
And a big shot by Battle Holly, cutting the lead to 5.
Here is McGregor zipping a pass into the corner for Kinnell. Barba Bay misfires from distance, and a sea of black underneath for the rebound.
Well, let's see, and there is that look inside. Good inside-out passing, wide open to Robinson.
Ellis and Robinson team up for a pretty basket. No Timko, no Kem King on the floor right now. Both with 4 fouls, and in a span of about a minute, Bloomfield has carved 5 points off the deficit. Messiah going right at Morris. Nearly lost his footing, and they'll call a travel before the tie-up.
Well, and the first of the guys with 4 personal fouls, Kem King, is going to re-enter the game. And you know what? I do like this move. Now, does Mr. Morris get the ball inside and go right at Kem King?
There's a battle going inside with Morris and Kem King. Here is Morris, bringing Bloomfield to within 1, and he hits Kem King with the too small celebration after that jumper.
Yeah, you're right on that, partner. And the Bears a 7-0 run to trim the lead down to 1.
Bird doesn't get the roll, and Bloomfield can take a lead here with a field goal. Battle Holly penetrating, was losing his footing, and the shot doesn't go, and Jefferson has numbers. Wide open 3, Kinnell, no good.
Now, Bloomfield, good job walking it up the floor. Great offensive rebound by Davion Ellis.
Ellis carries it way to the basket, but is unable to get it to go.
Well, 2 great opportunities to take the lead, both go in and out, and Eric Timko set to return to the lineup.
Rams by 1, 5:10 to play. Kem King, offensive foul. Morris takes the charge.
And that is number 5. Let's see, was there a little flop action here? Yeah, I tell you what, I don't know about that. The big man, I don't know if he would go down that hard. But a great job by Josh Morris.
Kem King will play no further part in tonight's semifinal. And a foul away from the basketball inside. And that is the 3rd personal on Bismarck Messiah. He caught Morris up high. Man, 6'7" senior goes to the free throw line. Morris, a great story. He gave up basketball out of high school, went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, but he missed the game. So he went to the County College of Morris. He was an All-American there. Committed to Holy Family, but didn't play, and now starring for Bloomfield. And giving Bloomfield a 1-point lead.
The head basketball coach at the County College of Morris is a Felician graduate, Anthony Overy.
Under 5, we're in crunch time. The final semifinal of the night. Who's taking on Caldwell for the league's automatic bid tomorrow afternoon? Barba Bay rolls it home, and it's Jefferson back in front.
Well, Ahmad Barber Bay, a very confident take to the basket. Great left-handed finish.
Poole taking on all comers, too strong. Robinson keeps possession alive. No, the follow hit the rim. It's out of bounds. It's staying with Bloomfield. And partner, I think the shot clock never reset a couple of times when the ball hit the rim. It says 20 now.
Yeah, and that's correct, as they definitely hit the rim, and a good job by the folks at the scorer's table, as shot clock should have been reset, and it did.
Bloomfield has it with a fresh 20 in the half court. They trail by 1. Morris. This time, Morris gets charged for the offensive foul.
Well, and you know what? Mr. Morris has to understand, you know, you giveth and taketh away. It was the same call.
And it's funny you mention that, because I could see what the official said, and he said that's the same call as down there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it. It's the same call down there.
And our great production team at BTV had a great instant replay of the official explaining to Morris.
And that's a good call against Wes Robinson, as he definitely made some contact against Eric Timko. As you see Timko losing his balance as Davion Ellis strips him. But watch right here, bang, he hits him, and a really good call, the official right on top of it.
That was a point of emphasis from a couple of years ago, where they really wanted to watch on those loose balls. If you make contact with a player, you'll call the foul. Do want to ask you about the Morris situation with 4 fouls. How does Bloomfield roll with that?
He plays. I think he plays. I think, you know, maybe you want to do a little offense defense at times in the last 3:45. But, I mean, there's no tomorrow. And you're trailing by 1. You, just like Eric Timko has to be on the floor, Josh Morris has to be on the floor for Bloomfield.
A 1-point game with 3:45 to go. Last game of the night. And today, one of those days, partner, where every game was worth the price of admission and then some.
Yeah, I think the fans today that checked in to Herb McGee Arena clearly got their money's worth. This has been great basketball and terrific representation by all the schools that competed this afternoon and tonight. Just a great day of basketball for the CACC. And you know what it always is, Andrew? I mean, this is a great time of year. And these young athletes have really represented their institutions, their families, spectacularly well.
Eric Timko, the man at the free throw line for Jefferson. The sophomore and newly minted CACC Player of the Year. He was the Rookie of the Year a season ago. Goes 2 of 2 at the line as Jefferson takes a 3-point lead. Well, we got a shot a little while ago. Commissioner Dan Mara, he has to love what he's seeing. We'll talk about the parity in the league and every game coming down to the wire. Ellis drives on Timko. Was hoping maybe they'd get that 5th foul. It doesn't come, but the more important thing for Bloomfield is the basket is good.
Well, and Davion Ellis recognizing who's guarding him, and Eric Timko clearly not playing defense with the same intensity, and Ellis was able to get by him and finish that layup.
Each team, as you can see at the bottom of the screen underneath their name, with a couple of timeouts remaining. Keep an eye on that in these late game situations. The possession arrow is Bloomfield, should there be a tie-up. Bird, straight on 3, off the heel. Nasaya soaring in for the rebound and put back.
Boy, Wes Robinson has to do a better job there of trying to get that defensive board.
Ellis, this time he gets that contact he was looking for inside.
Well, and you see Gerald Holmes as we watch Ellis going right at Darius Kinnell, but you see Gerald Holmes imploring Wes Robinson. And I know what he's saying. He's saying, come on, my man. You got to get that defensive rebound. You can't just let Nasaya get that O board and finish there.
They called the foul on Nasaya. He has 4 now. Remember, Kim King has already fouled out. Now Timko and Nasaya have 4 fouls apiece. And Ellis, cool, calm, and collected at the free throw line, sinks the first. Also to keep note, just 7 fouls charged to Bloomfield. So still 1-and-1 situations for Jefferson as Ellis brings the Bears once again to within a point.
Well, Davion Ellis in these last 2 possessions, key, making a layup and knocking down those 2 free throws, but very aggressive in what he is doing on the offensive end.
And we're looking for Timko. Instead, it stays with Bird. Nasaya. Remember, Morris has 4 fouls for Bloomfield. Barba Bay. Shot clock down to 6. Barba Bay lost it. Ellis to Robinson, who missed the lay-in.
Wow. I can't believe what I just saw. He like airballed on that layup.
It would have given Bloomfield the lead. Instead, Jefferson looks for Timko. It's an air ball.
Well, Timko came off that screen, curled right to the ball. You don't see him shoot an air ball that often.
.90 seconds to play, and a travel. Ellis kind of lost his footing inside and turned it over.
Yep, yeah, he did. Isn't it interesting, Andrew? Andres Fulgencio, first-team all-conference player, off the floor for like almost the last 10 minutes. I think I'm overstating it, but at least the last 5.
He's 1 of 7 from the floor. He hasn't scored in the second half, just 3 points tonight. Jefferson with the rock and a 1-point lead. Bird rising for 3. It's short. And with 1 minute to go, Bloomfield again has an opportunity to take a lead, and Coach Holmes uses one of those timeouts.
Well, and in that trip, Wes Robinson was going to get that defensive rebound. There was no way he was not going to corral that one that time. And if you're Gerald Holmes here, you know, there's, I tell you, there's so many avenues that you can go offensively. And if it's me, Andrew, I'm going to Josh Morris. Morris has been the guy. I want to try to bring him from the weak side to the ball side, get him the basketball and let him operate. He's the guy I want to try to shoot this in this situation.
58 seconds remain in what is a 1-point Jefferson lead. Bloomfield drawing up a play. We get a good look at Jefferson. how they might defend this. You made a great point. With Fulgencio on the bench for large stretches, the fact that Bloomfield is even within 1 point kind of talks about depth, but also talks about other players stepping up.
Well, I mean, I would say, Davion Ellis, Tyreek, Battle Holly, and I mean, clearly Josh Morris have been extremely special today for the Bears. And you see Andres Fulgencio back on the floor. And I think that's a good move. He's one of the best players in the CACC. He's got to be on the floor.
One shot for him changes his whole night. Is it the first teamer that gets the ball? It's not. It's Battle Holly. Oh, did Jefferson maybe get away with a goaltend?
Wow. I'm stunned that that's not a goaltend. I am stunned.
Gerald Holmes can't believe the call.
Wow. Wow. I think, and I really hope we can get a look at it here as Bismarck Nasaya comes over and blocks the shot of Battle Holly. That is definitely a goaltending. Wow. Wow.
You see Coach Holmes dancing his way almost to mid-court to protest what sure looked to be a goaltend. And so Jefferson maintains the 1-point lead. We're taking another look.
That's a tough angle for us to see anything, but give Nasaya credit. He came all the way over to try to block that shot, and he made a great special play. Whether it's goaltending or not, that's a great play by Nasaya.
Well, that view sure looked like even more than the first one that it would have been a goaltend.
Yeah, I really don't have any question in my mind that was a goaltend.
A BTV crew doing a splendid job all day long. All of the replays. Here's Nasaya right at Morris, and he missed the lay-in, and it's last touched by Jefferson.
I tell you what, Eric Timko got away. He might, with a foul, he might have went over the back there trying to get that offensive rebound. Watch it right here, and crashes right there, and very, very fortunate he didn't pick up number 5. There's a 6-second differential, game clock to shot clock.
Here's Poole, back out to Ellis. We're down to 20 seconds left. Ellis with Nasaya. He hits the deck. They'll play on through this. The lay-in no good. Pinballs to Jefferson, and Bloomfield fouls Bird with 11.1 seconds remaining.
And it was unfortunate. Ellis kind of wanted to make the move, but he found himself underneath the basket. He was trying to find Morris, but Morris didn't really go to the basketball. And if he had, he might have gotten an easy layup.
So to the free throw line goes Hakeem Bird.
And this is still a 1-and-1 situation.
And Bird sinks the first free throw. He is a 89% free throw shooter, 25 out of 28 coming into tonight. And of course, the old announcer jinx, but the rebound is offensive for Jefferson.
Wow. Let's see who got it. I think it was Nasaya who tips it out. Bismarck Nasaya. Let's see if it's him who makes this play. No, it's Darius Kinnell. Darius Kinnell is the one who got in there to make the play. What a big play by number 5, but a free throw miss.
5 seconds to go. Bloomfield down by 2. Poole puts it in!
And 1!
And he's fouled with 2.2 seconds to go! And the game is tied!
Unbelievable, and 1. And it's on Timko. Timko is fouled out. Wow, what a turn of events. And the Jefferson crowd is stunned.
The sophomore Isaiah Poole, who has shown off his wheels all night long, makes it happen. The game is tied with 2.2 seconds to go. Timko has fouled out of this game.
Incredible. Incredible that, you know, the foul to put Bird back to the line. You know, I kind of think everybody forgot that it was still 1-1 and it was only a 2-point lead. The big miss, 2 missed free throws by Hakeem Bird allow Bloomfield the opportunity to tie the game. What an individual effort by Poole, and he can now give Bloomfield the 1-point lead with 2 seconds left, and no Eric Timko on the floor for the Rams.
The biggest shot of the sophomore's career comes right now. A 71% free throw shooter. 2.2 seconds to go. The game is tied at 63.
And Jefferson now is out of timeouts.
Poole missed the free throw. We are going to overtime for the second time today.
Wow. Unbelievable. What a finish. And it just goes to show you, free throws. You gotta make your free throws, everybody.
Jefferson had a chance at the end of the game to increase their lead. Bird missed his free throw, and as you said on that 1-and-1, it seemed like everything slowed down for a second. Bloomfield takes advantage, but then Poole misses his free throw, and so the night, well, it grows a little bit longer in the city of brotherly love.
What a day here at Herb Magee Arena. But okay, let's just take a breath. Bloomfield has still got to feel pretty good about the situation. They're going to play this extra period, but no Eric Timko, no Antonin Kemkang, and Bismarck Nasaya has 4.
Now, Morris does have 4 fouls for Bloomfield, but as you said, 2 huge players for Jefferson will play no part in the overtime.
Incredible. This is what March Madness is all about. Games like this, my friend.
So much at stake. The winner of the league's tournament gets that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And the overtime session starts with Jefferson in control. Without 2 of their biggest weapons. Kinnell, good start for Jefferson in the extra session.
Well, and these other players for the Rams have got to step up and embrace this moment. A lot of contact by Nasaya and Morris.
Ellis blocked by Nasaya. They feed the Bronx, New York native who throws it down.
Well, and how about this? He makes the block and sprints his tail down the floor to get the big flush.
A 4-0 starts for the top seed in the South. And Morris hits the jumper, or misses the jumper, excuse me. 6-0 start out of the gate for the Rams. And Bloomfield forced to slow things down with a timeout.
That's crazy that here in the first minute and 4 seconds, an explosive 6-0 run by the Rams. And here we go. How does Bloomfield respond?
Not quite the start that Bloomfield wanted to this extra session, and you pointed this out in the first half. Now we've played 2 full halves and a little bit of overtime, but Jefferson seems to have a little bit more juice in those legs.
Well, and you know what? Let's not dismiss these other guys that play for Jefferson. You know, Darius Kinnell Ahmad Barber-Bey, Hakeem Byrd. Those are guys that play major minutes for the Rams. And they're here to say, hey, we can play this game too, you know.
Vital possession for Bloomfield. They haven't scored in the overtime. They trail by 6. Morris.
Oh, boy. And Bismarck Nasiah has just fouled out.
Big foul call on number 35, and now Nasiah joins Timko and Kem King on the bench.
Hey, but you know what? Bloomfield still trails by 6.
How about this? The 6'6" Nasiah fouls out. That's all right. We'll just bring in the 6'7" freshman Justin Hawkins.
Yeah. And young man, you're not a freshman anymore. You got to get in there and you got to play.
Morris at the line. And he hits the first free throw. One more for the Ewing, New Jersey native. Playing with 4 fouls, has done a good job not fouling out of this game, and 2 big free throws at the line, the first points of the overtime for Bloomfield.
And there's a lot of time left in this session. 3:42 remaining. Tons of time left.
Certainly the question becomes, can Bloomfield get defensive stops? Here is the aforementioned Hawkins. Shields is on the floor as well. Barber-Bey rises, no good. Hawkins right off the bench and thrusting himself into harm's way to pull down a board, but a tie-up.
Well, but you see that Robinson and Morris, no block out, just standing. And look at Hawkins, Justin Hawkins going strong to the glass, getting, if nothing else, a tie-up to flip the arrow back.
Certainly something to keep an eye on. Morris was upended and rolling in the paint, just now getting to his feet. Morris draws the foul with Hawkins. There was a lot of contact away from the ball inside. And so Morris goes right back to the free throw line.
Well, you know, and the big man has been so good today, not only from the free throw line, but this mid-range game. Josh Morris, a tremendous afternoon, or excuse me, tremendous night for this young man from Ewing, New Jersey. See if he can draw his club 2 points closer.
14 points, 8 rebounds, and a couple of steals for number 34 in black. Morris at 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. The quarterfinal win over Georgian Court on the 28th of February. Rising to the occasion here in March and pulling Bloomfield to within a deuce.
And give Bloomfield credit. Falling, 6 points down in a short amount of time in the overtime period. They've kind of, established themselves and scored 4 in a row to get this lead down to 2. This is the guy for Jefferson that's got to look to score, Ahmad Barber-Bey.
Number 12 in white.
That's the guy who's got to look to go to the basket.
And he'll get an opportunity at the free throw line. It was Jefferson, the opening minute of overtime. It's been Bloomfield of late, but the sophomore Barber-Bey go to the free throw line for Jefferson. Thus far, Barber-Bey at 9 points, but he has 12 rebounds, and now he has a double-double. One more for Barber-Bey, the Piscataway, New Jersey native, had a career-high 24 points in the quarterfinal. He's having himself a big-time semifinal. And the Rams, most importantly for them, have a 2-possession lead with under 3 to play in overtime. Ellis, a straight on three. No good. Morris drew the foul underneath. It's on Hawkins.
Boy, that's really good work by Josh Morris. And there's so much contact. And you know what? That could have gone either way. That really could have gone either way. As Hawkins is trying so hard to keep Morris off of the offensive glass. And both of them had their arms hooked. Really, really difficult call for the official on the baseline.
Morris, former All-American, has one more free throw. And remember, he has 4 fouls. So that 50-50 call could have been the difference.
Could have been it, but I love what Gerald Holmes is doing now with him, offense, defense, with Wes Robinson coming back on the floor for him.
Kinnell, Bird, Hawkins, Shields, and Barba Bay are the 5 for Jefferson. Shields in front of the Rams bench, knocks down the 3.
Wow, what a shot by Shields. And is able to extend the lead to 5.
The freshman out of Scranton, Pennsylvania, making it happen. And here you go, partner. How big was that tie-up that Jefferson's Hawkins drew at the other end?
Yep, because you see the arrow get flipped, and now the possession will go to Jefferson. And just a little bit too much by Davion Ellis there. And Barba Bay giving of himself to get on the floor for the held ball.
Boy, what a big-time shot by Shields. Here's Barba Bay. No good, but Bloomfield Robinson unable to collect the rebound.
Now, Wes Robinson has just had a really, really difficult night tonight. Mistimed his jump there and knocks the ball out of bounds for possession to stay with Jefferson.
Rams, 10 on the shot clock. That is a obvious foul on Poole.
Well, the Bears, you know, once they got it to 2, everything changes with that Shields 3, and the momentum now has swung obviously way back to Jefferson, and Akeem Byrd could make this a 7-point lead. But another missed free throw, good Lord. Hakeem Byrd has now missed his last 3 free throw attempts.
Junior out of Philadelphia with a much-needed second free throw. The lead is 6 for Jefferson. Rams have missed 5 attempts at the line. Bloomfield has missed 4, but they've taken 28. Jefferson has just attempted 15. Calling forward Poole. They go inside to Morris. Looking for contact. He draws it, but he can't make the shot as well.
Boy, what a heady play by Morris to watch this little up and draw that contact. Wow. Gerald Holmes needed that one to go down. A 3-point play would have been huge for the Bears. Well, if the second free throw is made, we're obviously going to see full court pressure from the Bears as they have to sell out in the backcourt. Time is now an ally for the Rams. 1:39 left with a 5-point lead.
Morris makes both. They'll leave him in with 1:39 to play. The problem for Bloomfield maybe has been that Morris has been the only guy in overtime. You would imagine at some point he needs some help. 90 seconds to go. Hawkins, what a spin move. Everything but the finish from the freshman.
You called it right. Did everything right but make it.
Morris rifles it into Fulgencio, and it's his turn to go to the line.
Well, what a great move by Justin Hawkins. Just couldn't finish it. And Andres Fulgencio going right at Shields, drawing the contact. Let's see if Fulgencio, who really hasn't shot the ball much in the last, 15 minutes, let's see if he can go to the line and make these two. Rattles the first one down.
He was a third-team all-conference performer last year. First-team all-CACC selection who came in averaging nearly 16 points per game. He has brought the Bears of Bloomfield to within 2. The North trying to go 4 for 4, 2 for 2 on the men and women's side. Number 1 in the South, Jefferson, trying to say not so fast on their home floor, leading by 2. Shields fouled in the act of shooting.
Now, give Shields a lot of credit. Boy, he's showing a lot of composure and confidence, looking to get his shot up. And now can the young man go to the line and knock down 2 of the biggest free throws of his basketball career. And does not make the first.
Shields, a big-time player in high school, 2-time Lackawanna League Player of the Year. The freshman goes 1 of 2, but it stays a 1-possession game.
No reason for Bloomfield to panic and think they need to shoot a 3.
Poole draws that contest. It seems like it's going to be a free throw shooting contest to determine a winner.
Well, and I mean, both teams are correct in wanting to try to get to the basket. And Poole showed his athleticism, blowing by his defender. Barber Bay came over to give good help side defense, but did commit the foul. And there's a big miss.
Well short from Poole. One more. Bloomfield looked lethargic in the first half. According to head coach Gerald Holmes, they played much better in the second half in overtime, but still against the number 1 seed in the South, down by 2. Final minute of the first OT. Barber Bay goes at Morris and scores over the big fella who could not jump. He was at risk of a 5th foul.
But you know what? There you got to contest that shot a lot stronger. Tough shot, 3-ball. Oh, what a basket. Wow.
Josh Morris, big-time player with a big-time shot. It's a 1-point game.
Give that young man a lot of credit. Just went down and drills a 3-ball to bring his team within 1.
What an overtime for number 34 in black. He has done it all to keep Bloomfield in this game after that tough start to the OT.
Yeah, I mean, to be trailing by 6 right out of the gate, Bloomfield has fought their way back. And Josh Morris, I mean, that was the game right there. If that shot doesn't go down and Jefferson gets the rebound, you know, they make 2 free throws and it's a 6-point lead, under 30 seconds left. We're pretty much calling it for the Rams. Now it's a 1-point game. Anything can happen, and as you said, Andrew, could be a free throw shooting contest in the last 28.9.
Bloomfield, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, is no timeouts. Jefferson has 1. The shot clock will play no further part in this overtime, so Bloomfield goes for a steal. If it doesn't come, a foul. Nearly a turnover. What effort by Battle Holly, who winds up the 3rd row of the bleachers.
I'm still surprised, though, as Jimmy Riley's going to call a timeout. I'm really surprised when Justin Hawkins caught the ball twice they didn't foul him.
14 or so seconds came off the clock. You know, usually you play a little bit of defense. If you don't get that steal in the first 5 seconds, you foul. A lot of time came off the clock there.
I think that's a great point that you make, because now they're going to inbound the ball, and you really don't have a choice but to foul. If Jefferson knocks the 2 free throws down, well, now maybe there's 13, 14 seconds left, and you're down 3. It forces you to shoot a 3 and not get a quick 2, whereas if you fouled, especially when Hawkins caught it with probably like 23 seconds left, you might have been able to play, you know, with getting a quick 2 and not shooting a 3.
Valiant effort nearly led to a disastrous turnover for Jefferson on a dangerous cross-court pass. Neither team has a timeout remaining. They get it into Shields, and there's the foul. And so the freshman goes to the free throw line.
And he's a good free throw shooter. He's got a good stroke. I mean, I think Coach Riley has got to be happy. I'm sure he would probably want Barba Bay or Kinnell at the line just because of their veteran leadership, or even Bird. But Jason Shields is a good shooter.
And he makes the first, an 82% free throw shooter in a small sample size, 14 of 17 coming in,
but look at his stroke. He's got a great stroke.
One more to make it a 3-point game, and he does. Let's see how Bloomfield plays it with no timeouts remaining.
Well, I think you got to shoot a 3.
Battle Holly goes right at the basket and scores with 8.1 seconds to go to cut it to 1. And Bloomfield fouls almost immediately, and now Kinnell has a long walk down the floor with 2 vital attempts.
Well, you know, give Jason Shields a lot of credit for knocking down the shot. Here's something to think about. Jimmy Riley just brought his guys together. If Kinnell makes both of these and they go up 3, do you foul in the last 6 seconds to not allow Bloomfield to shoot the 3?
Kinnell, a 93% free throw shooter, missed the first.
Okay, now they're not fouling, obviously. Now they're just playing it straight. Big miss for Kinnell.
He missed them both. 5 seconds to go. Bloomfield down by 1. For the win!
Oh!
God, it was
in and
halfway
out.
down. Ellis's attempt rims out, and the South's number 1 survives barely.
Well, he had a great look. It goes in and pops out. Unbelievable. But see where Josh Morris was? I wanted to see Morris run all the way to the block and try to get him the basketball. He was not even a factor on that play.
Ellis, the sophomore, nearly won it for Bloomfield in overtime.
Hey, you got to give the Rams so much credit in overtime, playing virtually the entire overtime without Nasaya, Kemkeng, and Timko. What a finish. Oh my gosh, what a finish.
It makes it that much more special for the first-year head coach, Jimmy Riley. Timko fouled out, Kemkeng fouled out, Nasaya fouled out. How about the freshman that stepped up? Hawkins and Shields contributing in the extra session, and it is Bloomfield nearly a winner on a 3-point attempt at the buzzer, but instead the South gets their first win of the day in an instant classic, 80-79 in overtime. The Rams moving on to tomorrow's championship, and so they will meet the number 1 team in the North, Caldwell. We had 4 epic games, and down on the floor we have head coach Jimmy Riley, and he is standing by with Jerry Milani. Jerry, we send it down to you right now.
Coach, I'm exhausted watching it. How was it coaching it?
Listen, both teams played their heart out, and unfortunately, one of them had to lose. And that shot obviously was down and out, and we're very fortunate to get this W. But again, credit to both teams, both programs. They just fought their butt off, and we were lucky tonight to get that W.
Tell me what this guy meant to your team tonight.
So this guy right here, I am probably on him more than anybody on the team. First half, Second half, all of a sudden, we can't say what I said to him in the huddle, but he showed up and played his butt off. And if it wasn't for him tonight, we would have been in big trouble. I'm so proud of him. He takes a lot of gaff from me, but he always sticks with it. He's always respectful, and he always goes hard, and I love him. I love him.
Bismarck, you willed this team to win tonight.
Man, I just had to go out there, do everything I could for my team. And it was a couple calls that got my teammates out, and I knew I had to step up. And Coach Riley been on me all year, but it's nothing, because if he's not on me, then I don't do the stuff that I do. So,
he knows I'm right. That's why he does it.
15 points, 13 rebounds, but to me, those two huge block shots, what was it like getting those block shots?
That's what I do best. That's God-given talent, as he says all the time. God gave me that talent, and I just went out there and just blocked the ball. That's all I do.
Get some rest and come back tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so much for televising the game. We really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. See you tomorrow. Back to you guys upstairs. A great day. We're looking for a big one tomorrow as well.
Thanks so much, Jerry. What a day of basketball. 2 instant classics on the women's side, 2 amazing games on the men's side, 2 total overtime games. And Ellis, that looked like it was 75% down before maybe Herb McGee Arena, a little bit of Jefferson magic, spit it back up, and instead of Bloomfield winning at the buzzer and sending the South's #1 home, it is the Rams moving on by 1.
Well, and free throws, Darius Kittle going to the line and missing 2, giving the Bears an opportunity to come down and only have to make a 2-point basket to win. Here's the thing that I would say, though. I just don't like on that last play, Josh Morris not going to the basket to try to get the basketball. He's been Bloomfield's most offensive player. He's knocked down almost every free throw in this game. He was 12 for 12 from the line tonight. You got to get him the basketball there, even though Ellis's shot goes 80% down even. Morris has got to be the guy to run to the basket and try to get the ball.
For the final time tonight, JR, what a day it was working with you. And as always, our studio host did a great job, Mike and Tim, and we will give them the final word as they try to make sense of 10 hours of basketball.
Whew.
And what a 10 hours. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, JR. Thank you to Jerry on the sideline. You doing all right, Mike?
I felt like I just ran a marathon.
That was exhausting. My goodness. Down the stretch of that final game, missed free throws. Jeff Morris was incredible for Bloomfield. And you had a Ram lineup here. Justin Hawkins, Jason Shields, Darius Kittle, all on the bench coming in because 3 of their starters, including the CACC Player of the Year, were out of the game for Jefferson because of the fouls, and they just came away with a win.
Playoff time, you knew there's going to be players that are going to score, that are going to make an impact on the game that you never really would have thought. Hats off to Morris, for canning all those free throws in overtime in the big 3. I know Ben wanted him included in the last play of the game, but tell you what, the Jefferson bench just stepped up at the end. Those guys came out and played with the Player of the Year on the bench, Kem Kang on the bench, thinking his season's done. No way. Wow. It's been a terrific day of basketball.
Certainly has. Dominican beating Jefferson in the women's side 72-71 in overtime. Post over Holy Family 60-57 in game number 2. That means tomorrow it is Dominican and Post for the women, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
We'll be here.
Yes, I'll take a nap, I guess. For the CACC championship for the women. For the men, Caldwell defeating Chestnut Hill 67-65. And then in overtime, the second overtime of the game to close everything out, Jefferson over Bloomfield 80-79. So for the entire crew here, Wow. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. It's Championship Sunday for the CACC. Thank you very much.